Hi, I'm Anna Magzanian, president of LA Times Studios, and today we are discussing the foster care system and the vital role that CASA volunteers play. Joining me today is Jessica Herrera, and she's going to share a little bit about her journey. So welcome, Jessica. It's so wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Could you share a little bit about what was it like to be in the foster care system?
Yeah, I entered the foster care system at the age of 11, and I aged out at the age of 21. And it was not an easy time to be a foster child. It never is. Being in foster care, it really, truly taught me resilience in a way that has set me up for life, but in the way that saddens me, because no children should feel the feeling of survival, the need to be resilient. At the end of the day, they should be carefree and enjoy their childhood.
So you navigated the foster care system for a while. When did you meet a CASA volunteer? Do you remember a moment or something that impacted you?
I was 11. I met my own CASA volunteer who was assigned to me. I remember her bringing me a blanket, and it was a heart blanket that I still have with me. And I just remember she told me, I'm your CASA now. You're going to be seeing me once a month. And in my head, I didn't really think much about it. There's a lot of people at the time going in and out of your life, therapists, social workers. And so I didn't realize that she would become really one of the pillars.
Wow. So tell me, what is CASA? Does CASA stand for anything particular?
Yeah, so CASA is a nonprofit organization that stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate.
Okay.
And they specialize in making sure that the child's needs are met, whether it's medical, health, educational, and ensuring that the child is receiving the most stability they can.
Jessica, how do you feel that your CASA shaped your life?
Yeah, she had an impact in my life that I think I haven't even begun to understand the depths of. But I do know that she was the person that showed me what being an adult looks like, what being a healthy adult looks like. As she was growing up, I was also growing up. She was very young when she started.
How old was she?
I want to say she was in her early 20s.
Oh, early 20s.
Yeah, and
so you were 11 and she was in her early 20s. So you kind of grew up together.
Yeah, exactly. In very different ways. I saw her transition from different jobs. I saw her get married. I'm now seeing her have 2 kids.
You've decided now to be a CASA volunteer. Can you tell me a little bit about what do you hope to accomplish as a volunteer?
Mm-hmm. The impact of the system was definitely strong. I knew I've always wanted to come back in some sort of capacity to the child welfare system, whether it was through foster care or through becoming an attorney. But what truly brought me here was a conversation with my CASA. She's the first person really that I talked to about becoming a CASA too. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to be a proper CASA because of my experiences, but she reassured me that it was the opposite, that it would be a strength and that I had to view it as a strength.
I want to know a little bit about what is a typical day as a CASA volunteer with a foster kid? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends for the age that you're working with. I can tell you as a teenager, when I had my CASA, we loved to, just drive around. And I think we would often get lost, actually. It was our thing, but we like to call it our adventures. And those minutes that I was able to talk to her and sort of vent were probably more important than any activity that we ever did. But yeah, you just have to be an ear for them. And that's really all it takes, is to be willing to listen.
What makes a strong CASA? What is it about the approach that, from a CASA volunteer perspective with the foster kid, that creates that connection? Is it their approach? Is it the style? Is it having empathy?
Yeah, I think definitely a strong CASA is one who understands that the problem is bigger than the CASA itself. I think a great CASA is one that considers, for example, race, and the fact that a lot of our foster youth are from Black and brown communities, or who considers that over half of the foster kids in California are from LA County. And I think it takes more than empathy and a listening ear. I think it takes the approach of understanding that there's barriers that we can't even begin to imagine they're facing.
What would you want to be the biggest takeaway for people to understand, like, the foster care system and how important and impactful having somebody like a CASA volunteer and the role that that would play? Like, what would you want people to walk away with?
I mean, they're children, really. That's the biggest takeaway for me is I think a lot of people think of foster youth and they associate negative stigmas around them. They associate negative emotions around them, but they are truly like any other children.
They're
impacted.
innocent children.
Yeah. They've been pushed to be adults when they shouldn't have been.
So, Jessica, if you could be anything in this world, what would it be?
My ultimate goal is to have a family. I mean, I'm excited to sort of be a parent and break those generational cycles. I'm, of course, excited about my work in the professional aspect, but I think the most important thing to me, the most impactful way I will truly ever be happy is to be a parent.
Amazing. Jessica, thank you again for being here today. It was wonderful to hear your story. If you are inspired by Jessica's story and want to know how to get involved, we will have information and links in the show notes. And thank you again for listening.